Another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also stream on Expert CRE Secrets podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, to exit highly appreciated primary homes, businesses, commercial real estate, cryptocurrency, save a failed 1031 exchange, defer millions of tax is an amazing way for you to exit and create and preserve more wealth, or help your clients, friends, and family do the same. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swarts. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, wealth, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. I'm excited about our next guest. Yes, she's out of the great state of Pennsylvania in the Philadelphia area. And for over 25 years, she's been a leading real estate executive and specialist, helping people buy and sell real estate. In fact, she was ranked number one real estate agent in Philadelphia with RE/MAX, number 12 RE/MAX agent globally, and number 76 of top 100 by the Wall Street Journal and Real Trends. And she is an entrepreneur. She's a visionary. She's a thought leader, a coach, and so much more. Please welcome to the show with me, Maria Quattrone. Maria, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Brett. Thank you so much for the opportunity today.
It's my pleasure. For our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Oh, my story. So I entered into the real estate world about 18 years ago. My background before that was in radio advertising sales. I was an account manager for a group of radio stations. And so I learned how to do door knocking. Actually, when I was 10 years old, I went door to door selling paper, greeting cards and wrapping paper. And for every item I sold, I made $1. I wanted to buy Christmas presents for my family from the Christmas church bazaar. And that's how I started when I was 10. And fast forward to my career when I was in the radio business, I again went door to door selling advertising to business owners. And then regional clients and national clients, and then developing marketing plans and driving point of sale to their business with all different types of programs that we put together. And then I entered into real estate 18 years ago and hit the ground running as a solo agent, basically because I knew already how to sell people air.
Very cool. I love that, the door knocking at 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then cold calling or whatever it might be, to be able to come and help people and solve problems on the fly. And by the way, so we're going to be talking about selling real estate with rising interest rates. The market is changing rapidly, and who better to help us than someone who's been in the industry for a very long time and is a specialist in this type of different environments, because she's been through multiple, economic cycles here. But before we go there, Maria, I want to take one other step back. I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life, and these gifts have been given to us to be a blessing and help to others. Some people call them strengths, some people call them superpowers. So I want you to go back maybe to when you were 10 or 15 years old. And I want you to think back, what are those one or two gifts that you believe you were given, and how does that help how you help and bless people today?
Wow. That's a pretty tough question. I think that the teaching people, I don't know if I was teaching people at 15, but I certainly had a lot of friends and I cared about them. And I think today that translate into our scholarship program, where we provide scholarships for women and minorities in the Philadelphia region. And my commitment to our community is to give 100 scholarships, not only to give 100 scholarships, but to take 100 individuals over the course of 2 years and 24 months, have them earning a six-figure income consistently, bringing many of them out of generational poverty and teaching them how to build generational wealth, first by home ownership and secondarily by investing in real estate.
Amazing. So caring about people, I would say, and commitment towards helping people become, financially independent and breaking kind of maybe generational challenges with wealth. Is that a fair summary? Awesome. Great. Well, let's keep that in mind as we talk about this, the topic at hand, which is selling real estate with rising interest rates. So Maria, what's the number one secret you could think about right now, or number one tip number one piece of advice that you could think of when it comes to selling real estate with rising interest rates?
Okay, so first and foremost, if you are a renter and you don't currently own a home, you pay 100% interest today on your rent. So as long as you can afford the payment and you have the down money and you're financially solvent, you should go ahead and purchase a home now. The first time home buyer inventory, the entry level inventory, is still very late. And it will continue to be for some time, maybe forever. So it is more difficult, of course, with a higher rate. However, rents are continuing to rise and they are projected to continue to rise. So what I say is find a house. It's not going to be perfect, but if it has like 70-75% of what you want and you can, put some sweat equity in a little bit on the rest, get into owning a home, because we know over time wealth is built through home ownership.
Excellent. Let me pull that away. I may pull that apart, or not pull apart, but make sure I understand it. So I love the way you put that. You pay 100% of interest today if you're renting, right? And if you can afford the down payment and have, and it's affordable for the monthly payment, what you're saying is you might as well buy now because of the projections, not only in rising interest rates, and also the rising rents. Is that a fair summary so far?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other part of that is we do know that over time, interest rates go up and interest rates come down. And if they do come down and you're now a homeowner, you could have gained equity in your home and you can refi at the lower rate. And that is a win-win. So I say marry the house, date the rate.
Marry the house, date the rate. That is a great saying. Makes sense. Get in now while you can. And perhaps it's even an opportunity, right? Maybe some prices have softened a little bit, Maria. What are you seeing out there as far as some of these prices softening? Or is that just obviously depending upon each submarket?
So it definitely is, real estate is local and there is hyper markets within a market. I would say that the entry level homes aren't as, those sellers aren't as negotiable as more of a high end, which seem to be sitting and sitting and sitting. However, sellers are entertaining offers. They are accepting inspections. They are, in some cases, providing seller assist. And there's more choices for buyers today. So if they were on the fence and they didn't do anything, even though the rates went up, they still have a potential to get a great house that they can afford before the prices continue to go up. Look, over time, right? We know a minimum, generally speaking, if you look over 30, 40 years, we increase between 3 to 4%, 3 to 4% a year. So over 5 years, you will have a 20% increase in the value of your home. So if you buy now, you can afford the payment, you can get out of renting, you can also, the savings that you'll have from on your taxes for owning that home, you could use to pay off some of the mortgage payment and therefore shrink the mortgage interest you would pay over the life of the loan.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the other stat I found too that was interesting is during any of these past recessions, there's only been one, which is the 2008 crash, where values of houses actually went down. And that's mainly due because of the debt crisis and everything that went on with Associated. But that was kind of, and we're not seeing that now as far as anyone can tell. There's nothing about these mortgages and the lending practices that have been in place the last 10 years affecting and also values of houses that are appreciated quite a bit. So talk about just that whole concept of it's not the 2008 crash, right? Or what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it's definitely not the 2008 crash. People were over leveraged. They were providing people for years before 100% financing, no income verification. If you were able to breathe, you could get a mortgage. So there was a lot more problems than there are today. Today, the biggest problem for people is really the rising of the real estate rate, the interest rate and the sticker shock of it. Because the consumers are used to hearing 2.8, 3%, 3.2, 3.8, but to hear 6.82. And you have to go back and think about all the years when that was kind of normal, 6%, right? I mean, in the 80s, there was 16, 18, 17% interest. Now, I wasn't selling real estate then, but people still bought homes. And here's a fact, Brett, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. Even if there's a Great Depression, people will buy and sell real estate because they have a lifestyle reason to do so. Getting married, they need a house. They're getting divorced, they got to get rid of the house. They can't afford it separately, right? Yeah. Somebody passes away in their family, they have to sell the estate. They're being relocated for work to Florida. They lost their job. They can't afford the house. They can't afford the payment, so they need to sell. So there always will be people who need to buy and who need to sell. And it's just a matter for us to find them. The pending sales and closed sales so far this year are down 30%. But in Philadelphia County, they're still 20,000 deals closed year to date, which means there were over 40,000 sides. So 20,000 families, 40,000 actually, right? Somebody moved and somebody bought. So the business is there. The business will continue to be there. I think one of the struggles more for real estate people, agents or brokers, is shifting the mindset. And if you've never went through a difficult time in real estate and you didn't grow up literally blood, sweat, and tears trying to get a deal done, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. So it's time to sharpen your skills, get with it, get on it, change your routine. And from a consumer standpoint, make sure you're working with an educated, experienced broker or agent. Because right now you need to be with the people who have knowledge. And a year ago, people were just opening a door, selling a house and writing contracts. There wasn't any skill involved in the negotiating. Negotiation was offer more. Mm-hmm. There's not much skill involved in offering more.
Absolutely. I believe that. I believe everyone needs a coach, and everyone needs those around them to help them level up and whatever they're doing, right? To iron sharpens iron and to work together on that. Iron. And so I'm curious, what have you found to, build your business, build yourself, and help build others? What do you think is the one thing that you've really focused on helping people to do that, or that you're really trying to help encourage people to do right now, whether they be an agent, be a team member, a business owner? What is the one thing that you're saying? Yeah, we got to get back to the fundamentals on this.
Work works. It's simple. Yeah. The simple solves the complex. So real estate, mortgages, insurance, all of it, title, orders, all of it is a contact business. So it's conversations, calling people, asking them how they are, how's their family, what's going on, right? For us, it's calling people, new people that come in, calling our database. Hey, you reached out a year ago, you didn't buy. Are you ready now? Just talking to people, conversing. The only way we get paid in real estate is when we get to the settlement table. The only way to get to the settlement table is to make a phone call, set an appointment, show a house, take a listing, negotiate an offer, and get it through inspection and close. That's it.
I love it.
And the simplicity of it is starting your day at zero, pretending you have no deals, no nothing. And you have that attitude is, what can I do today? And focusing only on today. The micro commitments for today is that 10 conversations, 20 conversations. What is the goal to do? And making sure that come hell or high water, that commitment is met.
Absolutely. Love it. And that's why you become the best at what you do. By the way, I'm curious, what keeps you going, right? Each each year that you're accomplishing and selling? Like what you mentioned, this bigger vision of helping more people, right, and making a difference in your community. But how do you remind yourself of that vision? How do you remind yourself to keep the fire going? What are the habits that you're practicing to do that?
I don't know that I need to remind myself, but I do listen to a lot of different podcasts and all different people. And I do practice getting some healthy exercise in so I can have my mom. The days that I go to the gym and I'm lifting, I am so fired up. They're like, oh no, she was lifting weights again, which is pretty much every day now. I can do it about 5 days a week. But I would say that I just believe that God put us here for a reason, and that's to inspire and help others and make somebody's life better. And so I remember what the long-term goal is. The long-term goal is to inspire, help others, be the solution, teach them how to fish and not fish for them.
I absolutely love it. Inspire, help others, teach them how to fish instead of fishing for them. That's fantastic. I want to shift a little bit. We geek out a little bit about capital gains tax, and we help people exit real estate. When they feel trapped in these big houses that they've owned for 20 years and above and beyond their 121 exclusion, or this piece of real estate that's closed and they've only got 10 days left to identify. But I'm curious from your perspective and your experience, Maria, like what have you found to be the biggest frustration when it comes to capital gains tax deferral on the exit of a high-end primary home or even a 1031 exchange?
I think that investors sometimes don't want to do the 1031 exchange for a lot of reasons. They don't want to buy new real estate is one of them. As for our older clients, our 70-year-olds, 80-year-old people, they don't want to be in real estate. So we try to offer them other solutions. Like there's some proprietary products out of like Morgan Stanley, people like that they have that they can go into. The other thing is people sometimes have a hard time really identifying the property over the last couple of years because the inventory hasn't been there. And so that's an issue. I would say the biggest reason people don't sell their property is they don't want to pay tax. I mean, I hear it all the time. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to pay tax. I'm like, well, we could sell it. 1031, you have no depreciation left. Okay, there's none you in 30 years property. There's zero depreciation. You probably don't even have enough insurance on it if the thing burned down. I guarantee you that they don't. Especially a lot of these buildings, and they have for a long time. And so take the money, reinvest, get that depreciation. In fact, now if you do it this year, you get what you have 100, you can accelerate it. So I think those are some of the main things. Like they just don't want to pay that. They don't want to exit and pay that capital gains.
Yeah, it's massive, right? It's about 25 to 50% of the gain with the depreciation recapture, depending if it's an investment property or not. And I think it is the number one reason people aren't selling these days. In fact, the largest wealth transfer in the history of the planet's happening right now, and it's the baby boomers, and it's $32 trillion worth of wealth. In fact, 50% of that is tied to high-end primary homes, commercial real estate, or private equity or businesses. And those are illiquid assets that are highly appreciated. And they're about to want to retire, want to relocate, want to downsize, whatever it might be for their lifestyle, but they feel trapped by this huge capital gains tax. And so some of them just say, either I'm not going to sell, right? Or go find me that up leg, Maria, when, if you find me that perfect up leg, then I'll sell. And, or I have to move out of my primary home for a year or two to qualify as an investment property. And it creates all of these challenges. That's part of why we started Capital Gains Tax Solutions and offer, by the way, the Deferred Sales Trust for those who are curious, where we solve all of those problems. And you don't have to worry about timing restrictions. You can diversify the wealth. You can put it back into real estate whenever you want, if you want to. You can also just put it into securities investments, and you can live off of a cash flow income stream over a period of time and pass it to kids. And if people want to learn more about that, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That being said, Maria, are you ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready.
All right. Knowing what you know now, if you can go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget and make sure to tell yourself to do?
Tell all those guys to go pound sand.
All those guys. Who are those guys, Maria?
All those people.
I'm with you. All right. Very good. Question number 2. What's the number 1 book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. We read it as an organization every time somebody enters a 2-week Rise in Real Estate Academy.
What's the number 1 practice out of that you try to do each day?
Habits, creating new ones and getting rid of ones that we don't need to have, and understanding really what the value of the compound effect is over time, and how on day 1 you start here, and then in 6 months and then in a year, look how far you've come. And really understanding, going back and appreciating the work somebody did.
That's wonderful. Question number 3. What are you most curious about right now?
God.
How so?
Just how it all works, where we're all going, what it's all about. I was listening to Jordan Peterson's, one of his podcasts with, what's his name? Pierce Morgan this morning. And that's what they were talking about. So that was on my mind.
It's a good thing to be curious about. Second to last question. What's the number 1 leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
Leaders eat last.
Excellent. Last question. After all your success, helping all the people you've helped, building the teams you have, helping all the people with their real estate needs, buying and selling, and helping others achieve success in their real estate careers, what is the one habit that you're practicing every day or every week or whenever it works for you, to stay centered in your values and stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
So I'd say that integrity is number 1. Doing what you say you're going to do when nobody else is looking. And that might require eating a lot of crow. It might require, a lot of stuff. But when you don't follow your integrity, and it eats you away little by little. So that's one thing. I am very unpopular sometimes for telling the truth to people, and especially sellers or buyers or maybe agents. I don't know, everybody. And at the end of the day, they may be mad, but they're glad and happy later, and they thank you. So I take what I do very seriously. I'm not going to lie about pricing or this or that, and I'm going to tell you exactly what we need to do to get the job done today.
Wonderful. Maria, I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to encourage you to keep using your gifts of caring about other people, commitment towards helping them, build their wealth, build their communities, as well as helping and inspiring others and keeping the long-term vision in mind. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, what's the best place for them to find you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. They can go to mqrealestate.com. They can simply call me 215-607-3535. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and I actually respond to all messages.
Fantastic. Thanks, Miriam. Also, thank our listeners for listening to an episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. As always, we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. And using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is an amazing way for you to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange, defer hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars of tax from the sale of primary homes, businesses, real estate, cryptocurrency. If you want to learn more about how to escape the capital gains tax jail, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. You can check out our free ebook. Also look for our new book that's coming out on Amazon soon called Building a Tax Deferred Exit Strategy. We have some cool guest authors with chapters in it, such as Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, financial advisors, and commercial real estate experts. And I got a couple chapters in there as well. So appreciate everyone watching or listening to this. Please rate, review, subscribe, and please get with an agent, Maria. If you're in Philadelphia and looking to buy or sell any real estate, she is the go-to. She's a rock star. She will take care of you. So appreciate everyone watching this, and good